everybody. This is really exciting. This is Inspiring Adventures with Ms. Meliz, and I have Bree Palmer as my guest. And I've got this up-down thing going. I'm going to try to see if I can fix that.
Hi.
But thank Bree for being here with me. And since she has such an inspiring story, I thought it'd be the perfect place to share a live special episode today. So thank you so much for being here with me, Bree.
Aw, thanks so much. Thanks for having me. This is fun.
Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell me and everybody watching a little bit about who you are and what you're doing on social media.
Okay, so my name is Bree Palmer. Basically, my title these days is a social media socialite. So I spend a lot of my time, just like connecting and meeting people and making new friends from all over the world. I run a little thing called the Amazing Human Series, and I am an interior decorator, so I do that all the time. That's my day job, and then do all these social media things on the side, and yeah, that's the latest.
Well, we met on, I can't remember how long ago we met or where we met exactly. I want to say Snapchat, maybe Blab or Instagram. I feel like I know you everywhere. You are such the socialite, social butterfly. And but I have been watching when you did the Amazing Human series, and some of my friends are amazing humans. I saw Chris Strub and Sandra Santorino. And then one day I got a message that you made me, highlighted a story that I did and called me an amazing human. I was really humbling, and I had to buy the shirt, and then I had to buy the shirt for my best friend because she is an amazing human too. So yes. We wear our shirts all the time.
Oh, I love that.
I love wearing the shirt because people always ask me about it. They're like, what's an amazing human? Why are you an amazing human? I'm like, aren't we all? People are amazing.
Yeah.
You're an amazing human. It's very inspiring and empowering to wear that shirt. And I think about you all the time. And what you did with that is really, touching to me. So what started that? Can we talk about that for a little while?
Yeah, definitely. Speaking about the Amazing Human series, which is my latest hobby, if you want to call it that. So it started, how did it start? I want to say it started with Snapchat way back when, however long, maybe 2 years ago now. And I was just meeting so many cool people on Snapchat, and these like incredible humans who just had such incredible stories. No matter what, they were just so humble about what they were doing. And I just felt that they needed a way to be shouted out and told how awesome and amazing they are. So I took that on myself to do that and started the Amazing Human series. It started with Chris Strub, who we all know and love, and we all would agree is an amazing human.
Yeah. Did you start reading his book already?
I just got it yesterday, his newest one. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I have to say, like the first few pages, tearjerker.
Oh man, I can just imagine.
But yeah. Totally. Okay, go ahead. Keep going. So you started with Chris Strub, and
and it just snowballed from there, and I just kept plucking people up off of whatever social media platform I found them on. And at first it started as a written blog, and I would just like write a little nice short blog about why I thought they were amazing and what they were up to and that kind of thing. And then it turned into a live video interview thing, and I plucked in some more people, and then it turned into a podcast, and that's where I've left off. I'm not loving the podcast aspect though, so I'm not sure if that's gonna stay, but everything's an adventure, and everything's try different things each day and see what works the best. But yeah, so it's just, I don't know, I'm always finding new people and always on the hunt for amazing humans.
Well, I feel like we can connect in that way because I like to talk to inspiring people that inspire me with their story. So it's kind of similar. And it's just, I found like being on the end of where you interviewed me or talked to me about my story, it's like was so humbling. It was like, oh my gosh, to be called this title of being an amazing human, it was just like something to live up to, and it was really when I tell people, when I wear the shirt and they're like, well, how did you get to be an amazing human? It is something like deeper than just being an average human. And I tell them that it started with that story when I had Bell's palsy, because it kind of like what clicked it into place, I guess. And it like almost forces me to tell the story, which I don't usually like to talk about. And so it is kind of humbling. It's different than when I talk about inspiring stories with people, adventures. It's usually kind of an achievement that they did on their own, like that they want to talk about. So like you take it in a different direction. And I think that that's what I want to talk to you about today, because sometimes you talk about things that a lot of people don't want to talk about. So that could be pretty touchy. We might get emotional today and get a little raw, but I feel it's really important because I want to talk about that. And I might get emotional today. I just want to warn everybody that my hormones fluctuate, and this might be a day that I can't control it. So just some days I'm really good about that, but I already feel the tears coming. But I shouldn't have put that bottom eyeliner on. But I don't know why. I just feel really, I've always felt really connected to you when I found out your story. And I don't know if everybody knows or if you even want to talk about it, but, it's the more I find out about you, the more I feel like I want everyone to know how important talking about those kinds of things are. So do you want to tell them what I'm talking about?
Yeah, for sure. Okay. So you're referring to my dad, I'm assuming?
Yeah,
okay.
You've gone through and why you talk about it, because I know you've written about it publicly.
And I will tell the story because it's a huge part of why I am the way I am and why I do what I do. So so let's just start at the beginning. 10 years ago, 2007, my dad took his life after suffering from depression for probably his entire life. Who knows, right? He comes from the era and the generation where men couldn't show weakness and that they wouldn't even think about talking about their depression or talking about that kind of thing. So who knows how long he suffered for, to be honest. We'll probably never know that. Any of our family, they think back, who knows? So anyways, and I was only a kid. I was a teenager, was in high school, right? And that's pretty crippling when you, first of all, don't know anything about depression. I was pretty in the dark. Our whole family was. Nobody, until you're touched by it, you don't research it. It's like anything else. If you've never been touched by cancer, if you've never been touched by mental illness, if you've never been touched by other diseases, you don't bother to try to find out about them because it's not part of your life. So that happened. Obviously we got through the initial stuff. Yeah.
But now that when you found that out, did you go back? Did anybody else in your family's history have suicidal tendencies?
Not that anyone's brought up.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So kind of with your dad's depression, that's what he did. And so now you're bringing that to the limelight, to the light, I guess, to the surface. So that won't happen again.
Right. I spend a lot of my time, and I wanted to focus on mental health and but living from the opposite side of the spectrum. I can't talk about having depression because I don't have depression myself. I've had bouts of anxiety and we've all felt sadness and whatever, but I can't say that I've ever felt clinical depression. And so I can't talk from that side of the coin, but I know from a daughter who lost her dad's perspective, how that feels and how I could have gone one of two ways. I could have gone down the path of basically destruction, where I decided that the world was a horrible place and that this happened to my dad. Oh, did I lose you?
Yeah, I feel like you kind of froze a little bit.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's okay. Maybe you need your phone, maybe Wi-Fi. Sometimes that happens. It's okay.
Yeah, that was right. Okay.
You're back. Hang in there, everybody. Live connection.
Shoot. Where did we end off? What was I saying?
In general, it was like you're the daughter and you're dealing with what your dad was dealing with. So I think where you were saying is that maybe it's not really what happened with you, it's just how you're reacting to it.
Right. And so I'm taking, like, I could have taken two paths, and one being that I decided that the world was a horrible, negative place, and that this took my dad from me, and, you know, then I could have gone that way and been really hateful and really negative. And instead, I'm taking it from the positive perspective, and I'm trying to show everyone that they have inside themselves what I'm calling an amazing human. So whatever that may be, like whatever it is that makes you special and unique, and to own that and live it to live your life to your fullest potential. And if you are suffering from any kind of disease, whatever, not just mental health, any kind of disease, there's so many invisible illnesses that nobody talks about.
Right. We're all going through something.
Right. And I just want to make people realize that their battle matters. And even though you think your small little thing isn't important in the scheme of things, it's what makes you you. And yeah, that's what I'm trying to, but I'm trying to do it with a positive, like, and my personality is so like bubbly and whatever, cutesy, and like, and that's just who I am. So I don't think I could do it any other way. And yeah, that's what, so I try to bring that light and that positivity to a pretty horrible situation.
Yeah. Well, I'm really glad that you pointed out that you're not someone who's suffering with depression, or, that you're not dealing with that, I hate to keep saying suicidal, you're not on the edge or whatever, because you don't have to like deal with that as a thing you can't be afraid to talk about it. You can't be like handling with kid gloves. Like, I know there have been times when I've said something to you and you're like, oh my gosh, I needed that pick me up. We all feel like we need a pick me up now and then. It's not like, I saved your life. It's just like we all need that. We all go through that. And it's nice to be nice to people, and it's good to help each other. We're all going through tough times, all the time. But what we're talking about is surviving we love people, and when we lose them, it's tragic. I lost my parents from natural causes. They were older, and I was in my 30s. It was still tragic for me to lose them.
Of course.
And I had to go through that grief, and it was how we handled it. And it was, it's scary for me, and I want to learn as much as I can about mental health and mental illness, because anxiety and depression does run in my family, and I've dealt with depression my whole life. I don't know like where people classify clinical depression or whatever, but I take meds to handle my anxiety and depression, and that's helped me. When I've gone off of it, like I used to think like, oh, going off the meds was the goal so that you could be normal, but really my normal is staying on the meds. So that works for me. And, and then also for me, it's working with my doctor and my hormone levels as I age, because the amount of medication that I need is different as I go through life. So it's been like a 20-year dealio. But my brother and my mother had to deal with these problems too. And then my son, out of the three sons, one of them, who's 21 now, has severe bouts of depression. And when he goes through it, it's like, it's so hard to help him. When he's fine, he doesn't want to get help. When he's really depressed, he doesn't want to get help. And when he's in that middle period, he wants to get help, but he never goes through with it to get the help. So it's like really hard to help him. So it's so frustrating to see him going through that and not knowing, like, is he going to be the one that has it worse than anybody, or is he going to get through it like we all got through it in our, late 20s, early 30s? I don't know. It's really strange. It's really hard, so I just try to stay educated, try to keep talking about it, try to talk to him about it at the right times, and hope, just try to act, but so I love asking anybody who's had any experience at any level, what they went through. And I thank you for bringing that and talking about it. And tell me about some of the things that you do. Like, there was one of the pictures that I saw recently where I'm the change.
Yeah, that was a good one.
So like different campaigns that you participate in. How can we help? What can we do?
Yeah, well, there's so much out there now, which is really nice. We've come a long way. So I didn't know anything about depression 10 years ago. And that was then like, yeah, what? Like my dad just took his life. Like, what the hell does that even, what was my reaction? Like, how do you get there? Like, I couldn't fathom that in my brain. I'd never been in that position. I've still never been in that position. I've never felt that way, thank God. And to those who do feel that way or have felt that way, like, you are a warrior if you get through that, because I can't even imagine. But there's so many things now over the past 10 years that have come out, and people are talking a lot more, which is nice, and people are telling their stories a lot more. But then we lose someone like crucial, like Robin Williams or the Linkin Park guy, which that movement was for or inspired by. And yeah, like, so someone famous takes their life, or they overdose because of the battles that they're facing, or, you know, whatever happens, and then we're thrown right back to the beginning. It's like, how does that happen when there's so much, but there's just still not enough? So I think every day you can do something, whether it's even just as simple as like smiling at someone on the street, or if you're in a retail sort of situation like I am, and someone grumpy as hell comes into your store, like, sometimes it's so hard, but just like suck it in and like be really nice to that person, because you have no idea what they could be facing or going through in their personal lives. Or, you know, some people just getting out of bed is like the biggest feat for the day. So, but there's lots out there. There's always things on social media too, like the I Am the Change movement is really cool. New one that just came out. So it was like for his birthday, for Chester Bennington's birthday was the focus of that, I guess. And people everywhere wrote I Am the Change on their hand, and they took a picture, and it was to show the 5 signs of emotional well-being and 5 signs of emotional suffering to recognize in yourself, which was what I really liked about this campaign.
Yes.
That
really touched me, because I was like, oh my gosh, I wanted to go run and tell my son, okay, are you doing this? And then I thought, okay, no, I really just have to look at that for myself too.
Yeah. That was a big I thought that was very different of what they did, because normally it's like trying to find signs in other people and trying to promote helping other people, which is great, but sometimes there's nothing you can really do. That person has to help themselves, which was what I really liked about the I Am the Change thing. So recognizing the 5 signs, and, you know, a lot of mental health and that whole thing, and anxiety and medication and yada, yada, yada. A lot of it's self-awareness. So you knowing that you need to be on medication for yourself is huge. And that's huge self-awareness that you have to have, because other people can, you just need to walk in the park, or you just need to do yoga, or you just need to do you know, no, that doesn't work for everyone. Everyone has their own thing and ways to deal with it. And a lot of it's self-awareness, which is not easy. So
my dad used to tell me, cheer up, or chin up, or, you know, all these little positive things. And he was a very positive person, which I feel like I am a very positive person, obviously. You know,
you are, yeah.
You know, people think I'm a positive person. I am a positive person. But I do have, and people who know me, and Cindy is probably the person who's very closest to me. She sees me on my darkest days, and my husband and stuff. Like, I don't share that part of me. People who are depressed know how to mask it, or know how to exist, or live within it's within you. I don't know how to explain it, but it's kind of like it's inside. You wouldn't know.
No.
You wouldn't know.
No, we didn't.
Unless you were seeing me 100% of the time and could tell. But, you know, I don't share that part of me. And that's like how Robin Williams could be a comedian and be a light to so many people, and then one day wake up and go, this is it. you know, so it's really a chronic thing. And so it's good that we talk about it. But you know what? I have a lot of people I want to thank for being here and watching. And Morgan is here, Chris Strubb is here, Michael Boy's here, Michael Campbell's here, Anna's here, and they're all saying thank you, Bree, for talking about this, and they think you're wonderful. And I wanted to
Thanks, guys.
I wanted to see if you would share anything else about your life that's going on right now or what you're doing next that you want to talk about. And then if you wanted to bring in some people, if you wanted to, you know, have a group thing, because we could do that here on Zoom. We can have 100 people in the room if you want.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. We should definitely do that. That'd be fun. Yeah, right now, to be honest, since we've been raw this whole time, we might as well keep up with that momentum.
Okay.
I am on the struggle bus right now. Like, I don't know if I'm just like, I do know. I took on way too much at one time and got myself really super overwhelmed and really super like this close to burnout. Like, I knew that if I kept going the momentum I was going at, I was going to burn out. So I've given up a lot of things lately, and even like the Amazing Human series is being pushed to the wayside just for now, because I need to find that level ground, and then I'll start building up again. But yeah, it's like I'm struggling with everything going on, you know. There's just so much, and social media and the live streaming and this whole world, and I have so many amazing people in my lives, but then I see so many different things I could do, and I'm like, you can't do everything. So that's where I'm at right now, which is I think is important to point out. Like, people are always sharing their highlight reel, as we call it, and it's not always the truth. So right now on the struggle bus, but I know where I'm at, and I know I'll find my way out of it. So
no, I totally get you. I you know, I relate to that completely. I started off the year with like a whole bunch of projects, and I tried really hard and push, and then, you know, I kind of take a time where I evaluate, like, okay, how did that turn out? You know, after like that first 3 months or first 6 weeks, whatever, I kind of looked back and I'm like, I have to take this off and this off because I am not going to be able to even get to that. And then if I, you know, some people would say, no, you gotta work harder so you could do that. And then, but that's not me, because then those other things that I am doing okay at are gonna just suffer if I'm gonna try to do them all. So my way of doing it is like, take those things off, stick them on the back burner, or take them off and do them another time so that I could do better at those few things that I am doing. And so, you know, maybe it's a little disappointment, because I like to tell people, hey, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and do this, so that I could be accountable to them. But, you know, it's okay to go, you know what, change my mind, talkative, not going to do that. Like you told me about the Amazing Human thing. You're like, I'm not going to do it right now, or I might not do that anymore. Okay. I was like, oh no, what happened? But now that you said that, I totally get it, because that's what I do too. Like, I really wanted to do this Twitter chat thing. I wanted to do a Twitter chat that was live on Facebook while I was tweeting. Some other people have kind of done a similar thing. Yeah. But I had this like really great idea of how I wanted to do it. But man, there's just no way I could pull that off right now. What was I thinking? I have everything set to go on that with like a private Facebook group, but I haven't opened it up yet. And I have like the graphics, I have everything, but I haven't turned it on yet because I just can't even show up myself for it. You know? Well,
yeah, that's the thing. You have to. And we're all like that. Like, you can't honestly tell me that anybody sitting here watching this right now, you don't like have these grand schemes and you're like, oh, I'm totally going to do this and this and this and this. And then the next day you're like, no, I'm going to sit on the couch and watch a movie. Yeah. Like you just, I don't know. Yeah. And I think that's just a self-awareness thing. And maybe you'll do it one day, maybe you won't. And either way, those who love you are going to support you. So.
Yeah, you know what, you know, and that goes back to the 5 things or whatever that you recognize about yourself. I think that was such a great thing. I'm like holding my hand, because I kind of like have an imaginary list on my hand now, just because I kind of associate with reading that I'm the change on your hand at the same time I read those 5 things. But recognizing that in yourself, like what you can handle, because like for me, one of the things that I worked in my schedule for this year was that I was going to be having this Easter break and that I wasn't going to go anywhere or do anything this week because I was coming off of 3 back-to-back conferences that I was going to be going away to over these weekends, and a lot of work and a lot of, you know, output that I was doing, and I knew I was going to be burnt out. And I had even been doing like those weekly check-ins on the treadmill, and I was like, I had been doing like so much stuff. Well, I pinched my nerve in my back, so I had to stop doing the treadmill, and I was doing like all these things were happening, and I thought, but I've got that vacation where I'm not doing anything. And so I even told you this morning because I was in such a good mood. Yeah. Because like I haven't been outside of my house but once since Sunday. Today is Friday. Like when I left yesterday, I thought, wow, this is the first time I've been out past my driveway since Sunday. And I put shoes on and stuff, and it was, you know, I really factored that in because I knew I was going to need it. So I'm really pleased with myself that I put in the time that I knew I would need to recharge. And hopefully, you know, I can just keep doing that, keep kind of like knowing what I need and giving myself that time. So
yeah, that's awesome.
You know, hopefully, you know, that's what I need to do to get that much work done in that amount of time. That's my way of balancing because I can't like just keep it going all the time. I need the downtime, and I can't get that much work done and have downtime at the same time. There's just no way. I just can't figure that one out yet. If anybody figures that one out, let me know.
Yeah, no kidding. The balance thing.
Yeah, you know, and I guess some people can, but maybe they don't. I don't know. I don't know how they do it.
I don't know how some people do it, and then people say the same thing to me. They're like, I don't know how you do what you do. So it's we all find our way, but I think it's important to remember that you're allowed to like relax. So I'm glad you took a week because I think that's a good message for people to have. Like, you are allowed to do nothing or recharge or do something you love. Like,
well, you know what? Thank you. I appreciate that. The funny thing is that I do mental work though. I do, like, even though I'm like not going out or doing things or, you know, actively like doing a lot of live streaming or whatever this week, I have been like writing a book in my head with Cindy and planning stuff out, and kind of like this has been a great time to get up to speed with a lot of things. So it's still, I'm always working. We're always working, you know. So Anna says chillaxing is not overrated.
Exactly.
And don't compare, just do you. She has the great words. Both of those could be T-shirts or memes, I think.
Yeah.
And Natasha is here from Greece. She says, proud of you. Bravo.
Oh,
She's so sweet. Thank you for watching.
Thanks, everyone.
I put the link in if you all want to join us and pop in and say hi. Zoom, you could just come on in, click on that link, and you could be here with us and say hello. And if not, it's okay. You know, we don't care. Maybe you don't have your makeup on like we do.
Yeah.
So, anyway, well, do you have any questions for me, Bree, or do you have anything else you want to talk about or share? If, like, you know, 10 more minutes or so, we can chat. Tell me about what it's like living in Canada.
Yeah, Canada. Ugh. It is currently snowing. It's what, April 5th today? It is snowing right now, and I am so unimpressed, and it's cold. Like, what is happening? I need some sun in my life.
I put a quote on one of my Instagrams this morning about how it was the word of the week this week is delight. And I found this Cadillo, what's his name? Can't say it. Oh, I gotta look it up. I don't want to misquote myself.
No. Yeah, delight.
Okay, so it is Kyle Gibran, if that's how you say it. Forget not that the earth delights to feel your bare feet and the winds long to play with your hair. And my friend Pauline said, Earth needs to deliver spring. My feet want bare, but snow.
Exactly, same.
Bare feet. And I said, well, even Earth wants what she can't have. So,
yeah.
You know,
I cannot wait.
So Bree, coming up soon, one of the words of the week is going to be cleanse. I know that's kind of a strange word, but cleanse, or like, starting fresh, having a new perspective. And I was wondering if you would give me your thoughts about that word so that I could share that on that week. What do you think about the word cleanse? Has that ever come up in your life?
Yeah, I think kind of think I'm cleansing right now, to be honest. It's almost perfect because, so the word cleanse, I guess, to me, means to sort of wipe the slate clean and start over with a fresh perspective and a fresh outlook, and whatever's going on in your life, maybe just cancel it all out to zero and start over. I think the word cleanse is good. Good word for the week. Kind of what I'm going through right now.
Yeah. So how would you recommend other people use that word for their self-care whenever something is going wrong, or if it's right, how to balance out with the word cleanse? What are some recommendations?
I think a way to probably use the word cleanse is to maybe just do something small. Like if you're having a bad day, maybe just wipe yourself of those bad thoughts and those negative energies, and just like let it go. Whatever is going on that day, let it go. Start the next day with a fresh slate. Clean yourself of that BS from that day and just move on.
Perfect. I noticed one of your Instagram, or I don't know I think it was Instagram, you were into the bathtub. Do you things like that? It's like a way to start, do little things for yourself. Pamper yourself, right? I think of it that way too. And Anna says, sexier sounding than spring cleaning or a reboot. Have a little cleanse. But I think, a fresh start. Thank you so much for sharing that. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for letting me.
You are like a breath of fresh air, and your smile is such a bright, shiny way to start a day. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing so much of yourself. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being my friend, and for lighting the way for people who have had to deal with some really tough things, because you make it, make it easier. You really do.
Aw, thank you. Thanks so much, Melissa.
Well, big hugs from
internet hugs.
West Coast here, and big internet hugs. Good night, everybody. Have a great evening, and wherever you are, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Thank you.